session, we are going to create a custom policy in AWS. So this is our objective for today's hands-on lab. And you can understand our objective as that we are going to create an AWS identity policy to grant AWS S3 and particular permissions to list buckets and download S3 objects in a particular bucket. So only these two permissions we are going to allow. So for that, we have to create a custom policy. So identity based policy is part of uh, is a type of policy in which there are two category of policy. One is managed policies and another is known as uh, inline policy. And further managed policy can be categorized in two parts. One is managed policies. So those policies which are managed by AWS only, and customer managed policy which are managed by created and managed by customer only. So here we are going to work as a customer managed policy. And as I told, there is one uh, another policy which is known as inline policy. So I will uh, post in the description of the video all about these types of policies like identity based policy, because we are going to work on this and there are types. So I told you about AWS managed policies and customer managed policy. They belong to managed policy. Second type is inline policy. So these policies we can add directly to a single user, group or rule. And inline policy maintain a strict one-to-one relationship between a policy and an identity. And this policy get deleted when we delete that particular identity. So I will post this document about what is policy uh, and what are the various types of policies. You can see there are 6 types of policies like identity based, resource based, permission boundaries, organizations SCPs, ACLs, and session policies. But here today I am only going to discuss identity based policy, and in that identity based policy particular customer managed policy. So this is our today's hands-on objective. So suppose what is the scenario? So scenario is that there is a company and company has just hired a new data engineer who's who have uh, one AWS account, and in that AWS account we need to provide access to list and download S3 objects. So for that purpose, we have to create a policy and then we will attach this policy to the data engineer's identity in AWS so that he can start his work. So these are the steps. So let's move to the management console. And first step is write a custom S3 policy. So here and go to the IAM policy, IAM service. Then here you can see there is policies. So create all policies. Click on create policy. And here specify or select a service for which you are creating this policy. So I am creating for S3. And here only, so there are, you can see visual policy editor visual, and policy editor JSON. So you can use either of them. So I am using visual, and visual is very simple one. What we have to do, we have to just select the options. So I have selected S3, and then effect is allow and here you can see access levels. So what we have to do, we have to provide only listing and download S3 objects. These two uh, access we have to provide to the newly recruited data engineer. Okay, so for that, click on list, and here choose list bucket, list all my buckets, and go to the read. Here for downloading we have to select get object. So here it is get object to download, so that we user can download S3 objects. That's it. Only these actions are we are going to attach. And then resources. So resources, here it is asking for only a particular specific bucket. So here I am choosing all. So for all, you can see the wildcard is star. So we will see in JSON, corresponding JSON I will show. This is visual editor. I will, after creation, after uh, selecting all the options, I will show you the JSON format of this policy. So let me repeat what I did. So, first of all, I had selected service S3, then actions allowed. So there are, it is known as effect. Either we can allow or deny. So I am allowing. And here I am choosing access levels for listing, list bucket, list all my buckets. And in read, I am choosing get object. And click on next. Here give name to the policy. So I provided S3 new hire policy. So, and you can add in description also, providing listing and S3 objects download access to the new user. Okay, and here you can see what permissions has been defined in this policy. Service S3, access level, read and list, and resources, all resources. It means all the for all the buckets in S3, it will going to be applied. And here there is no request condition. So that is uh, we are not providing any condition. That's why it is coming none. Click on create policy. So policy S3 new hire policy created. So click on view policy, and this is customer managed, just created. And you can see the actions, get object, and for listing, list all my bucket and list bucket. And here you can see the JSON document corresponding to this policy. So version, then statement ID, it is showing visual editor because we have used visual editor to create this policy. Effect allow, action. So in action there are three actions are available. S3 get object for downloading S3 objects, and S3 list all my buckets, and S3 list bucket for listing the buckets inside the S3. And resource, you can see wildcard asterisk that for all the buckets inside our S3, we are uh, providing permission. So this is the JSON format. So next we have to do, so this we have created S3 policy. Now create an S3 bucket and upload a dummy text file inside it. So click on S3, create bucket, give name to bucket, and just create bucket. So bucket has been created. Click on new hire bucket and upload some dummy data. So just I text file I'm adding here and upload. So we have uploaded one dummy text file in this new hire bucket. So next we have what we have to do, create a new user, and then again we have to go to the IAM, and here click on users and click on create user and give user a name. D new user, D is data engineer new user. I'm giving the name. Next, set permissions. So we have created one policy. So attach that policy and select that policy. So what was the name of policy which we have given? S3 new hire policy. So I have selected that policy, that is customer managed, and just click on next. So here username and the attached policy and click on create new user. So user created successfully, view user. So this is the user. Next, click on security credentials. This is so now we have to enable console access, and for this user, so just click on enable console access. Let me show you again. So this is our new user created, and I'm going to security credentials. So this is the console sign in login link, and here password has not been set, and I'm clicking on enable console access. Here there are two methods you can use for console password, either auto generated password or custom password. So here you can see user must create a password at next signing. So I am not going to check this box. I am using auto generated password and enable console access. So this is the URL. Let copy and go to use this URL in the another browser. So it is asking for IAM username. So IAM is D D new user, and password, copy password and paste. So using that credentials, so D new user successfully logged in. Now we have to check that. So that is the fourth step, last step, that attach the permission. So permission we have to check. So go to S3 and click on new hire. Yes, we are able to list, and then select this and click on download. So you can see we are able to download. So both actions are working due to that attached policy. Let try to delete this object. So here we are getting fail to delete objects because we have user having no permission to delete. That's why he's getting this error message. We have not provide. He cannot delete. He can only list buckets and download objects of the bucket. That's why he getting failed to delete objects. So this completes today's demonstration. So let me conclude what we did in this uh, complete hands-on. So the objective was to create a custom policy in AWS. We have created one custom policy as per the requirement. So requirement was that you have to provide to list S3 buckets and download S3 objects. And we have attached that policy to a new user, and then we tested the permission and is working fine. So that's it for today's hands-on. In next hands-on, we will see some other scenario. Thank you.